everybody, and welcome back to Talk Wordy, my hub for all of the words that I read, write, or otherwise want to yap about. I'm Sydney, and today I am starting what will be an ongoing series happening over on Talk Wordy, and that is what I like to call Pop Culture Catch-Up. And that is where at the end of every month, I basically give a rundown on all of the main objectives in the bookish, movie, TV, music, media realm that I think is important that you might have heard about or not heard about, or maybe you've just forgotten, you need a good little refresher. I'm here to deliver that good news. Now, is this going to cover every single thing that's happened on planet Earth in the matter of the last 30 days or so? No, but it's going to cover everything that is important to me, and therefore I think it will be important to you guys. So let's get into it. We will kick off. I have my list on my phone, so just so that I have biblically accurate information, I am going to start with books. So in the literary universe, here are the books that came out in January of 2026. We've got Half His Age by Jeanette McCurdy. I cannot wait to read this. As soon as I realized that it wasn't a memoir, I was like, I need this book immediately. I just have a hard time with nonfiction, but I had heard so many amazing things about I'm Glad My Mom Died. So I'm really excited to read this. It's a book all about feminine rage. Can't wait to devour it, especially because I have the audiobook. Then we have My Husband's Wife by Alice Feeney, Dear Debbie by Frida McFadden, Graceless Heart by Isabel Ibanez, Catch Her If You Can by Tessa Bailey, Chasing the Ring by Lauren Rowe. I have a special fondness for this book because I got to interview her on one of my previous episodes. She is lovely. She is a massive hit in the literary universe, and I get to interview her again when I see her at Love LitCon in February. So congratulations to her. Please go read that book. Of course, we also have 30, Flirty, and Forever Alone by Christine Riccio. Most Eligible by Isabel Engel. I think it's Engel, maybe it's Angle, but it's spelled with an E. I'm so sorry if I botched your pronunciation. Forgive me. The Odds of You by Kate Dramis. Here we go with the pronunciation. It's just going downhill from here, folks. Dragon Cursed by Elise Kova. Fruit of the Flesh by Ivy Ophelia, and Beth is Dead by Katie Burnett. What a list, you guys. We have lots to work with here. My ever-growing TBR just got longer and longer and longer. And speaking of Beth is Dead, book news that's not quite releases, but still in the realm, a bit adjacent, if you will. Reese Witherspoon officially launches Sunny Reads as a new book club aimed at Gen Z readers. Reese Witherspoon to the rescue, everybody. More book clubs like it. Beth is Dead by Katie Burnett is her first pick for the book club. And I actually have a friend of mine that is in a writer's group with her. And so she got to see all the behind the scenes of how she got the deal and how the press tour for it worked. And I just think it's so cool. Congrats to her. But I'm really, really loving the fact that more high profile figures are creating these book clubs and encouraging literacy. It's everything to me. Especially my latest favorite is Reads with Jenna. I love the stuff that she's been picking. She picked out Conform, which is like a dystopian love triangle in the year of our Lord 2020, whatever the heck we're in now. Because I feel like I haven't read a good dystopia since the 2010s, and I am so here for this. Anyways, I think it's going to be a really good pick. I haven't read Beth is Dead yet, but I can trust Reese Witherspoon and I can trust Jenna Bush Hager. So moving on, what else do we have in the book realm? Ivy Marie. Okay, not Ivy Ophelia, who I was talking about with Fruit of the Flesh, but Ivy Marie. She's the writer of Immortal Consequences that came out this past year. She did her cover reveal for the Immortal Consequences sequel, Ruinous Ends. And I just need to talk about, on a spiritual level, how freaking stunning her book covers are. Whoever is in charge of designing her book covers, please never quit. Never get a thought to yourself that you don't know how to do your job or your art doesn't matter. These are seriously bar for bar the prettiest books I've ever laid eyes on, especially if they come with sprayed edges. Like, I have the sprayed edges edition of Immortal Consequences, and I thought that was pretty. And then I saw the cover for Ruinous Ends, and I had to do a double take because I was like, how could you possibly make something prettier than the first book? Because the first book I thought was perfection cover wise. Her marketing and design team killed it. Also, the book is fabulous, and Ivy is lovely. I've been following her on TikTok for a long time. Please go check her out and her books. Next up, Leigh Bardugo announces that a Six of Crows short story will release in June called A Darker Shore. I don't know timeline-wise in the Grishaverse where this is taking place, if this goes like in between the two Six of Crows books, if it's after the events of Crooked Kingdom, for reasons that I won't speak about. It's sounding like the latter, and I'm nervous. But I love that universe, as jaded and bleak as it is. Like, it's my favorite series of hers. So any glimpse back into that universe, I'm going to read it. Additionally, Two Can Play by Ali Hazelwood is announced in paperback and ebook. It will release in February. It was previously an audiobook only exclusive. I'm pretty sure it was a Spotify Premium or a Spotify exclusive. I am not a Spotify girl. I am an Apple Music girly. And then I get my audiobooks on Libro. But at the time that it came out, I actually wasn't an audio reader at all. I was strictly paper and a Kindle now and then. But I have since changed. I've grown, I've matured, I've taken accountability for the actions of my past. But I am excited to see it in multiple formats now. I feel like I can catch up on her discography, but I'm really excited about that. Also excited, I'm over the moon because this next headline, Catherine Sinner's The Bodyguard. First of all, if you didn't know that it was getting a movie adaptation, I think you've been living under a rock, but that's okay. She's getting a movie adaptation. But the news here is because there is already a movie called The Bodyguard, they had to change the title. The movie is starring Jared Padalecki and Leighton Meester. It's going to be wonderful. And they have changed the new title to Guarding Stars, which honestly, I really like. I think it's not far off from the original title. I think it'll be great. And then last but certainly not least in the book world, this one, as a writer, I absolutely fell to my knees over. Also, I'm going to shamelessly plug my Substack. You guys, if you get tired of hearing my voice yap and you just want to have the written text, please go find me over on Substack at Sydney Applegate, or you can look up my actual blog part of it, and that is under Talk Wordy. I also release some of my podcast episodes through there as well. If you don't like Apple Podcasts or Spotify or YouTube, I do put those through Substack. But I mentioned that because my Substack, I write an article every week. And just last week, I wrote an in-depth assessment of why publishers are scared for some reason of releasing more new adult titles, because I think new adult as an age range and as a genre are on the rise and deserve more attention, especially in the contemporary space. I think a lot of new adult people think, oh, it's young adult, it's not quite adult, it's young adult with spice. And that bothers the heck out of me because there is more to a book than spice. I'm sorry. I understand that it's popular and it's what sells, but also please give me plot. Please give me yangst. Give me angst and yearning. Give me everything you've got. And if spice is in there, cool. It's a bonus, but that's not the whole point. New adult specifically, I argue without, rehashing my entire Substack post. New adult focuses on characters around 19 to 26, I think is the range I gave as far as age. 19 to 26 years old. And all of us who fit into that age archetype, we deal with certain things that not a lot of teenagers and not a lot of people in their 30s experience. We have to navigate being an adult while still being viewed as a child. We're entering the workforce. We are getting married and having kids, or if we're not, we're trying to navigate the dating scene without something like an organized school system keeping us within the orbit of other people. It's a whole deal. And there need to be more stories in fiction that help represent those age groups. I killed and would clobber for more new adult age books, especially as a new adult book writer and actually a new adult age person as a reader. So the news, let's get into it. Berkeley XO, a new adult fiction specific imprint from Berkeley Publishing Group, makes its first Instagram post, generating excitement for their inaugural release list set for fall 2026. Titles include, and this comes from my personal research, this was not posted on Instagram, but titles include Reap and Sow by Charlotte Plum. I really hope I'm getting that author's name right. I just followed her, but the premise is gripping. And Drown the Bones by Alexandra Kennington. You guys, I love romantasy. I am not about to dog on romantasy, but just like I was saying about, we need more new adult representation in the contemporary scene. Because again, people, when they hear new adult, they think that it is young adult, especially with fantasy and romantasy. They feel like it's YA characters with higher stakes and like more adult material. No, not always. Yes, in a sense. I mean, because you can't have certain things in YA if you're, you don't want to expose YA readers to too much too soon. But there are so many more complex concepts that new adult can spotlight, whether it's in romantasy or horror or mystery or contemporary. Please, more new adult contemporary novels. It doesn't even have to be romantic novels, but just contemporary. I would like to read about a woman my age who just got laid off from her job, because guess what? I just got laid off from my job. I would like to feel represented in fiction. But I think this imprint is a very, very good start, especially from a bang up big time publisher like Berkeley. So hats off to them. That is all I have for the bookish realm. Now, let's get into TV. TV-wise, Netflix announces a new limited series called Vladimir. I believe it's actually a book adaptation too, with Rachel Weisz and Leah Woodall as the leads. And I don't know how to explain this show well enough. I just saw the promotional material and it's provocative. Whoever was on that marketing team, especially for like the actual TV show banner, if you know, you know, and if you don't know, you can go look it up. They cooked. It's raunchy. It's wild. It's attention grabbing. They killed the marketing campaign there. So, also Leah Woodall, if I am not mistaken, he was the lead in the Netflix movie One Day. That absolutely shattered everybody's heart. So it'll be good. Next up, Finding Her Edge. Again, another book adaptation. The novel written by Jennifer Icapelli is now available to stream on Netflix. It is ice skating. I think she was ice skating partners, like pairs partners with her boyfriend, and they are now broken up and they were in a long-term relationship. So she needs a new skating partner. And it's like the ice skating bad boy or whatever. And she has to go with it because, I mean, Lord knows she's not going to dance with her longtime ex. And I'm assuming there's a love triangle involved. And honestly, if you were around when Spinning Out came out and you were just enthralled and then they were like, we're not going to renew it for season 2. This is our time to shine. This is our time to shine. So I can't wait to watch it. I think it'll be great. It's already added to my watch list. Next up, the 4th season of Bridgerton, following Benedict Bridgerton, the second oldest of 8 siblings, released today, January 29th. Do I have a lot of interest in watching it? Shockingly, no. Am I going to watch it? Of course. I'm just not excited about the direction the show's going towards. I don't know. It's starting to fall off for me. Nothing can beat the rush of watching season 2. Nothing. And I think it's because they didn't split season 2 into parts, and it was like one of the best enemies to lovers dynamics I've ever beheld with my eyeballs. So I don't know. In the words of Catching Fire, Caesar Flickerman, okay, one woman's opinion. Moving on. Who's next? And then last but certainly not least, in the TV world, news breaks that the Kelly Clarkson show will end when this current season wraps. You may as well have stabbed me. For a lot of authors like me, we all probably had a dream at one point or another of going on the Kelly Clarkson show and talking about our books that just became an instant New York Times bestseller and blah, blah, blah. Also, she's lovely. Kellyoke gets me through a lot of hard times. I'm sad about this one. I understand, though, because Kelly's been going through a lot in her personal life, but it's still sad. I'm really sad to see this one go. That's a bright spot in talk show television. Okay, next up, let's get into movies. So, obviously, number one, I think everybody knows about this one. People We Meet on Vacation came out on Netflix. It was adorable. As far as I'm aware, every single other book that Emily Henry has, minus A Million Junes, all of her contemporary works are in the works of adaptations or are being licensed right-wise to be adapted. And I'm stoked. Personally, I am so thrilled to see Happy Place. Happy Place is my current favorite. But man, People We Meet on Vacation is a very close second, and I absolutely loved it. The casting was perfection. Okay, next up, the Oscar nominations dropped, with Sinners coming in at a record high nomination, or at least it was an unexpected amount of nominations. I think it was like, somewhere between 10 and 13 nods for different categories. And then Wicked for Good received 0. On almost every level, I'm not surprised. That's what happens when you split up that story. That story, Act 2, does not have a lot to stand on when you break it up from Act 1. Act 2 only pays off when you have the momentum of Act 1, and you separated us from it for a year. Now, I am shocked that it did not get a nomination for costumes. That is bonkers to me. But moving on. Also in the movie world, Mercy with Chris Pratt and Rebecca Ferguson released in theaters. I have to talk about this plot because, listen, I know not a lot of people like Chris Pratt. I need you to put that aside for a little bit so I can explain the premise of this. It's about a detective who stands trial for murdering his wife, which he did not do. And he has to prove his innocence. He has, I think, 90 minutes. He has 90 minutes to prove his innocence to an AI judge that he once championed. Like, it's a program that he was in full support of, and he was basically like enforcing on the public. So again, like, guilty before proven innocent, absolutely bonkers. That's not how we operate in the US. So this program that he championed has now turned against him. Somebody has made it to where he stands on trial for murdering his wife. So in the midst of this grief, he has to try and convince an AI judge that he is innocent. Otherwise, he faces capital punishment. Crazy. Absolutely mind-bogglingly insane. I'm low-key scared to watch it, but I feel like I need to because of so many AI debates that are going on in the world. So thought I should bring some awareness to that. Next up, the last thing I have in movies is Kristen Stewart. Yes, Bella Swan herself. Kristen Stewart goes on record saying she wants to direct a Twilight remake with a bigger budget. Problem is, I don't know how anything else, any kind of remake, could ever hold a candle, a series remake, okay? Like, hearing about this Harry Potter remake, why would you try and outdo the original? We have the original for a reason. With Twilight, do I love the idea of getting more Twilight content? Of course. It's the Twihard in me. I will always take what I am given. But I don't know. There's just this je ne sais quoi, this magic, this magic about the original Twilight movies. And I can't even believe I'm saying the original Twilight movies. It's just the Twilight movies. What do you mean? I don't know. But I think it's interesting that she's even addressing the franchise at all because a lot of people for a long time wanted to like brush it off because the movies made them cringe or they hated, portraying certain characters or reading parts of the script. They felt ridiculous, whatever the problem was. Okay, last category, you guys. Let's get into music. So I'll try and keep this one quick. First and foremost, Maisie Peters announces her third album, Fluorescence. You guys, I don't know if I've really ever talked much about Maisie Peters on here, and if I haven't, shame on me, because she is one of my all-time favorite lyricists ever. She is so talented. She is not from the US. She is, I don't want to say British if she's not British, but I believe she's from England. She is so stinking adorable. Her lyricism reminds me a lot of Taylor Swift. So if you've consumed a lot of Taylor Swift, you would really like Maisie Peters. She got one day or a couple tour stops on the Eras tour to open for her somewhere in Europe. And I was so jealous I couldn't be in the same room as Taylor Swift and Maisie Peters. She has a more subdued sound in the singles I've heard from Fluorescence, but I'm still going to stream the heck out of this album. Also, you need to stream all of her music, of course, but specifically her second album, The Good Witch, especially The Good Witch Deluxe. One of the albums that is most influential on my entire life and my personality, and probably top 5 albums of all time for me personally. Next up, Ella Langley, country singer. You look like you love me. She she announces her sophomore album at Dandelion. I am not that big into country music, but I followed her a lot. First of all, she's gorgeous. I love her tone of voice when she sings. Her voice is very rich. She did that whole thing with Riley Green and there was like beef, but there was chemistry and we didn't know what was going on. So yeah, if you're interested in all, she is releasing a second album. Surprise. Next up, almost 30 years after his passing, you guys, Jeff Buckley has his first track break into the Billboard Top 100 with Lover, You Should Have Come Over. You might not know that song full blown, but you've probably heard it on TikTok by now. It is one of the most emotionally devastating songs I've ever listened to, and I stream it constantly. It is so beautiful. It is agonizing. It is a piece of art. Please go listen to the full song. I know it's on the longer side, but you need to go listen to it and not just like hear the 15-second snippet that TikTok promotes, because the song, like, that is one of the song's high points, but you need to like experience the build for yourself. It's a beautiful song, and I can't believe it's happening so far past his death date. I think it's like so moving, but also really sad. Like, I wish he could have been around to see the success of this track. And then last two, they kind of go hand in hand. I'm a big Fleetwood Mac fan in this studio. So first up, 50 years ago this week, it is the very last week of January for reference when I'm recording this, Fleetwood Mac started recording their hit album, Rumors. If you have never listened all the way through to the Rumors album, I need you to disconnect from this episode right now. I am so honest to God serious. Get off this podcast and go listen to it. Just straight down, track by track. It is one of the best albums of all time. And last but certainly not least, Landslide by Fleetwood Mac officially hits 1 billion streams on Spotify. That is all I have for you guys over here on Pop Culture Catch Up on Talk Wordy. This was so fun. I can't wait to do this every month, because you never know what kind of bookish media, music, TV, movie news is bound to happen. I actually just thought of one for TV, and I'm going to just put it here at the end because I can't believe I forgot to put it in my notes. But if you're a fan of TV and if you're a fan of The Traitors, the Ireland version of Traitors just ended, and for the first time in show history across any of the franchises, Two traitors have won the show together and have split the pot. They outnumbered the faithfuls, they didn't turn on each other, and they split about 47,000 pounds. Congratulations to Stephen and Rachel on the Ireland edition of The Traitors. I cannot believe I forgot that out of my TV notes because The Traitors has become one of my most bingeable shows ever. I'm finally catching up on all of the American seasons. I want to catch up on Ireland because I don't know, Irish people. Irish people are just so funny. I love the way that they talk, not just accent wise, but they're just so out of pocket. Yeah. Okay. Now I for real am done on pop culture catch up. Thank you so much for tuning in, you guys. This has been so fun. I can't wait to see what February brings. Hopefully, a lot more good news than icky news that we've experienced in January. But yeah, thank you for listening. And until next time, I will see you guys in the next one.